Hello everyone, my name is Devashish Roy. I'm the Senior Network Analyst at the Indian Cybersecurity Solutions. And today I welcome you all to this special webinar. And today's topic is DHCP snooping, ARP inspection, and port security. So, what is the DHCP snooping and what is the ARP, Address Resolution Protocol, and how to implement the port security? All these things we'll discuss. So, DHCP is a dynamic host configuration protocol that you know, and the DHCP gives IP to every PC. Maybe there is a legitimate PC, there is an attacker PC. So we will understand these things also, and also we'll discuss the other things subsequently, like the dynamic ARP inspection and port security. So this network security is essential for safeguarding the IT infrastructures against unauthorized access. What does it mean? It means that the DHCP server gives IP to any PC that I was talking about. It can be your legitimate PC, it can be an attacker PC. Like if say I'm an attacker and I want to get the IP from the DHCP server, that is your legitimate DHCP server, definitely I can get IP because DHCP server doesn't know who is the attacker, who is the legitimate person. So definitely, if I get the IP, then I could attack your network. I could gain access to your network. I can breach your integrity, confidentiality, and available sensitive data. So definitely, you have to protect it against this role, this attack. And then you need to configure the trusted interfaces that will show you in a minute. I will configure the trusted interfaces, and then I will configure the untrusted interfaces. Now, the pieces connected to the untrusted interfaces will not get any IP from the DHCP. Now, the key features of DHCP snooping, it enhances network security, like it serves to enhance network security by monitoring the DHCP exchange and the messages. Like it means that the DHCP discover, offer, request, acknowledgement, all these messages. So it monitors, and any unauthorized device from receiving IP address it prevents. It creates a secure boundary that allows only trusted DHCP servers to respond to client requests. So if I'm not trusted, say I'm an attacker, so my interface is not trusted, and I am delivering a DHCP discover message to the server, it won't be forwarded to the server at all by the switch. That is the concept. Maintains binding table, definitely. It maintains a binding table that links MAC address to assigned IP address, and the DHCP snooping ensures that only legitimate addresses are assigned. So the switch already has a MAC address table. So then it has a MAC addresses associated to some ports. So if the DHCP discover message is coming from one port, let's say 0 by 10, so it will check that whether I have that port in my legitimate MAC address table. If that MAC address is legitimate, then definitely I will allow, I'll pass. Otherwise, I will say no, it's blocked. So that is the way it checks. A dynamic ARP inspection is done by the switch, means it inspects all the incoming ARP request. So already it has maintained that ARP table, that binding table, that I have this MAC address, let's say ABC MAC address associated to port F0 by 10. Now, if an ARP request is coming, it doesn't have that source MAC that is ABC. Now that is invalid, that is unauthorized. So I will not pass it, or else definitely I will pass it if it has the source MAC address of ABC. That is the way it works. It improves the network performance definitely. Implementing the DHCP snooping can significantly decrease the chance of network disruption caused by unauthorized DHCP servers. Because if you're, say, an attacker and you can have a ROG DHCP server, now if you have deployed the ROG DHCP server, then definitely your legitimate client request would be redirected to that ROG DHCP server, unauthorized DHCP server. That is the greatest risk. Now, how DHCP snooping functions, network security, like you have to initially set up this DHCP server, and DHCP snooping is enabled on the network switch because by default it is disabled. You have to enable it to the IP DHCP snooping command. Monitor the DHCP messages, including request and offer, discover this message on the client and servers. it will be monitored to detect any anomaly or unauthorized response. Building binding table, that definitely switch binds itself. And this week, Snooping constructs a binding table that maps MAC addresses to IP address that is allocated to clients, ensures only the legitimate address is issued. All these things are there. Validating response. DHCP Snooping feature validates DHCP response against the binding table. Preventing ROG servers that I was talking about, the ROG DHCP server, that is the most important part and most critical and most risky, because if I've deployed the ROG DHCP server, then the client will get the IP from my ROG DHCP and they will be redirected to my ROG DHCP network. So I will have the complete control over that clients. Now, benefits of DHCP snooping is enhanced network security. It adds a layer of security by filtering out ROG DHCP server, definitely, which helps to unauthorized access to network resources. Prevention of IP address conflicts, like by limiting the distribution of IP addresses to only those provided by trusted DHCP servers. Now, DHCP snooping prevents conflicts and it ensures that the devices receive valid addresses. So, if it's not coming from the legitimate DHCP server, from illegitimate or ROG DHCP server, definitely it won't be given. The clients will not be able to give, receive the IP. Improve network performance, definitely. Legitimate device experience fewer interruptions and better connectivity. So that is DHCP snooping and is related to the ARP inspection. Is critical feature in the network security because ARP is an address association protocol, as we know, and it detects the destination hardware address or MAC address, and switch maintains a MAC table or the the CAM table, content address or memory, and that is related to the the ARP inspection. By ensuring only legitimate ARP traffic is processed and passed, it mitigates the risk of ARP spoofing attack and the man in the middle. So the spoofing and the man in the middle, these attacks are to be prevented by this ARP inspection. Validation of ARP packets that I was talking about already. ARP inspection validates ARP packets by comparing them to the trusted database of IP to MAC binding sound. Definitely, if it is there, it will pass. Otherwise, it will be blocked. And it prevents the acceptance of fraudulent ARP messages. Proactive traffic filtering, all these things will be done by the ARP, which accepts all ARP requests and responses, and ARP inspection employs strict checks to filter out any unauthorized ARP traffic. Benefits of protection against the ARP spoofing that I was telling you. I can spoof the MAC address. I can change the MAC address, and I can give the same MAC address to my PC. That is ARP spoofing we're talking about. And ARP inspection prevents malicious actors from impersonating the legitimate devices by verifying the ARP packet. Now, if two devices have the same MAC address, now if the ARP request is coming from both, definitely it will check the ARP database. Now, it will not allow the other device, and this significantly reduces the risk of ARP spoofing attacks by this dynamic ARP inspection. Enhanced network integrity is there by ensuring that only authentic ARP communications are processed. Now, ARP inspection enhances the overall integrity of the network, allowing for reliable data transmission among the devices. Improve overall security. Definitely, the ARP inspection not only protects the network but also improves security posture. So that is the thing of the ARP inspection, and port security is one step further. Is a crucial network security mechanism that limits the number of MAC addresses that can be connected to a specific switch port. And port security effectively blocks unauthorized device from accessing. Like I can say that the first 10 MAC addresses are valid for any port. First 10 pieces are valid and the 11th PC is invalid. So you will consider the 11th PC, 11 number of PC that is the invalid one. It can limit the MAC address. Port security restricts switch ports to only allow predefined number of MAC addresses. Also, it can have a the violation mode, like if any other PC is connected to that legitimate port, like it is not the legitimate device. So definitely it checks the MAC table. If the MAC address is not matched, then definitely it will put the port in the shutdown, means the disable state. Shutdown means it doesn't put the port in shutdown state, but it puts the port in the disable state. So there is a MAC to IP mapping, and then if the incoming, say the MAC address is coming to that port and it doesn't match with that ARP cache, ARP table or the CAM table, definitely the switch does what? It actually blocks that request. So it is like a port reservation. You can say a MAC address reservation against a specific port. Unauthorized access prevention means when an unauthorized MAC address attempts to access the network, the switch can either shut down the port or place it in an error disable state, preventing further access. So if you are saying that in any port that is the error disable, now you cannot open it straight away. You have to put it in shutdown state and then you have to do the no shutdown. Now network stability enhancement, definitely there. This feature helps maintain network stability by ensuring that only trusted devices can connect and reducing the risk of network intrusion and conflict, so the attack surface gets reduced. Enhance control over access. Port security enhances control over network access by allowing network administrators to specify which device can connect to a switch port, which device is connected to a specific switch port. I want that F0 by 10, that port should be connected to a specific device that is achievable by the port security. Prevention of unauthorized access. Another significant benefit is the prevention of unauthorized access, as port security restricts the number of MAC addresses that can connect to a switch port. And let's say in 2960 switch, how many MAC addresses are allowed per port? 132. So I can restrict it within that. Now, definitely best practices are ongoing regular security update policies to address evolving the vulnerability threats and attacks, quarterly update, even biannually periodic audits to ensure compliance with security measures are maintained. So all these things are there theoretically, and now I will resort to the practical things, more practical approach using the Cisco Packet Tracer. This is a switch, this is a router. Say attacker PC. Now 8 and 10 would be cluster interface. Give the IP. IP DHCP pool, say CCNA network .0.0 and the subnet mask. Now first is port hyphen security. If I give it in the config mode, what will happen? Definitely not. You have to give it to the interface. But it will reject it because it thinks it's a dynamic port. You have to first give switch port mode access, port security, and switch port security you have to enable. And now let's say here you check the MAC address table. It is not having any MAC address. Even if you ping, let's ping, or you get the, say, the automatic IP 10.0.0.2, 10.0.0.3. Now ping from this PC to that PC. Yes, it's pinging. Now can you see that this address F0 by 10 is static? Means here the port security is implemented and others are dynamic. Here the port security is not implemented. Now if I configure port security on F0 by 8 also, again it's made error security. Now again ping, so that this is flushed out. It's pinging. Yes, it is also, it is describing static entry for the F0 by 8 port. Now that is the port security implemented, but in the packet tracer it sometimes gives me some trouble. So what happens that you just disconnect this interface, you take any other PC and you connect it to the same F0 by 8 port, give the IP, it should be blocked. But let's say I'm giving the IP 30, but will it be blocked? It's not pinging because the ports are transitioning, but no, it's pinging because here I have implemented the port security but port switch port security, MAC address. It will dynamically take the MAC address. I haven't specified MAC address, maximum. How many maximum MAC address are allowed? Say 1. Violation mode, shutdown. These things we haven't configured. Now again you ping. Is saying static entry. Now we have fully configured the port security. Now you can take this PC and you take some other PC, third one. Any IP if you give in 10 network, and if I want to communicate, it should be blocked because the port security will check that the legitimate the MAC address will not be matched with the ARP table. But it is not happening that this time. So let me change the IP address again. or you could take another PC, you could connect, because in packet tracer it gives some problem when you implement with this say DSP server, these things. So you have to do it in trial and error method. But in the physical PC, definitely it will not give you any trouble. As soon as you connect and an ARP request is passed, it should check even before we ping, and it should disable the port, even if it's the 10.0080 or any IP in the 10 network. But it packet tracer, it takes time to check that, or any simulator. Now it has happened. See, it has now happened and the port has gone red. So now it has checked the incoming ARP request and it has disabled the port. And as you can see, we can go to the show interface of 0 by 8. I can show you that it is in the error disabled state. So error disabled means it was disabled by the port security. So if you go to the interface F0 by 8, if you give no shut, it won't be opened because it is in the disabled state. You have to bring it to the shutdown and then no shutdown. Now it is opening. It's an exception. And again, if you try to ping, it will be blocked, disabled rather. Yes. So this is the way the port security happens. And also the dynamic ARP, see, it's blocked. Dynamic ARP inspection happens, and these things, the DHCP snooping, I can also implement IP DHCP snooping and interface, let's say F0 by 9 IP DHCP snooping trust. This is a trusted interface. It will not give IP to any other interface. So this is the way I've shown you practically, and a contest is going on where you can fill up the questions, the answers, and if you give the answer 8 answers correctly out of 10, definitely you'll get a certificate. So a link is shared below, and everybody should attempt the questionnaire. And there is a very easy questionnaire where you can fill up the answers and you will get a certificate that I have already told you. If you get 8 correct answers out of 10 at least. So that is about the DHCP snooping, ARP inspection, port security, and I have shown you the theory part, as well as I have also shown you every practical of the DHCP snooping, ARP inspection, port security. And it is very crucial for our CCNA and CCNP, all these certifications. So I thank you all for joining and watching this webinar once again. It will be a great opportunity for you to actually enhance your knowledge for your certifications. And also, I hope that you will be able to incorporate this knowledge in your, say, skills to enhance your skills and your knowledge. And also, you have to incorporate the skills in your enterprise networking. So this is a very important lesson that we have discussed today in, say, the DHCP snooping, what is ARP, ARP inspection, port security combined in the network security level, in the CCNA, CCNP, as well as in firewall also. So just go through these topics and also take part in the quizzes and also get the certification as soon as possible. So that is it from me for today about the DHCP snooping, ARP inspection, port security, and I will come with some new topic next time. Till then,